A brawl at the White House. Oh my goodness, what is going on? I mean, Scott, I didn't know you had it in you. We don't know as it's entirely true. It's apparently been reported. I think they quote Bannon as one of the sources here in the New York Post. This was the lead this morning. Hit me with your best shot. Fire away. Treasury Secretary threatens housing regulator in explosive Trump administration fight. Punch you in the effing face. So this apparently was between Scott Bessent, who I like a lot, and Bill Pulte, who I kind of admire for his tenacity. I mean, anybody that's going after Letitia James with that mortgage stuff, I mean, he's tenacious, all right. Scott's brilliant. Like, Scott's a really, really smart financier. He totally put, just to jog your memory on like who's who, he totally put the woman on NBC that hosts the Sunday show in her place because she doesn't know a damn thing about the Fed or the FOMC. And so she asked a question and he kind of just spun it back on her. It was sort of funny to watch. Remember, the Fed is the FOMC, okay? So the Fed chair is right now Jerome Powell, but like he has to work with the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, the FOMC, which sets the rates on interest rates. So there's this like funny exchange because, again, sometimes when you're smarter than the host, it's just too easy.
Bottom line, Mr. Secretary, will the Fed chair set interest rates or will President Trump?
The Fed chair doesn't set interest rates. The FOMC sets interest rates. So it is.
Okay, duh. Now, I'm sorry. Like I started out in finance at Goldman. I've been a financial reporter my entire career. This is sort of funny to me because she has no clue what he's talking about. He's like, no, the Fed chair doesn't set the rates. Like Jerome actually doesn't set the rates. It's a board of governors. That's why it's a big deal that Lisa Cook is getting tossed, right? Because she was the Biden appointee and she probably wasn't going to go along with whatever Trump wanted. And so he's trying to explain to her, it is not the Fed chair. It is the FOMC. It is the entire board. Watch.
Board.
Should President Trump have a say?
And the President Trump is going to make his views known, just like President Biden did. President Biden in the State of the Union, his last State of the Union said he thought there was going to be an interest rate cut. Senator Warren called for a 75 basis interest rate cut this year.
Yeah. I mean, at least he didn't sock it to her, right? That was like the verbal equivalent. Anyway, Scott Bessent, shocking, apparently called out Bill Pulte because Bill Pulte was talking smack about him to the President of the United States. And so they're at this club that was started by Junior and a guy, I don't know if he's been on the show. Have we had Malik on the show? We may have. I'm not sure. But anyway, the conservative sort of financial guy started this club. Everybody goes to this club. Scott Bessent and Bill Pulte, again, just to jog your memory on him, he's the guy who's going after Letitia. They get into it.
Recommended that the DOJ investigate New York Attorney General Letitia James over alleged mortgage fraud. The AG, Letitia James, has responded. We don't have the video, but here's the quote. "This investigation into me is nothing more than retribution. It's baseless. It has to do with the fact that on a power of attorney, I mistakenly indicated that I was a state of Virginia resident. And prior to that, I indicated to the mortgage broker that, in fact, in bold cap letters, that I am not a resident of Virginia and never will be. They just took the power of attorney and they're using that as a basis for enforcement of their investigation." Bill, do you know why she said she was a resident of Virginia on the power of attorney, if in fact she wasn't?
Well, I know that we are mortgage experts, and we only refer things that we think are mortgage fraud, and we stand 100% behind the letter. I'll let the letter speak for itself. I do know, and I have seen some reports from that subject, from that subject's criminal defense lawyer, saying certain things. I'll leave it to the DOJ to correct various things. But again, when we see mortgage fraud, we are going to report it. When we see mortgage fraud, we are going to prosecute it within the confines of our duties. And we are not going to be intimidated by a subject's criminal defense lawyer. We are not going to be intimidated by a politician or just because you have an Esquire behind your name. We are not going to be intimidated by people. If we see mortgage fraud, we're going to do something about it. And I think that you're going to see us be taking this on in a big way. Mortgage fraud is a big problem. these companies are safe and sound, but where we see it, we are going to do something about it. And that subject's case is no different.
Well, what are the ramifications of this?
He doesn't want to talk about it. Anyway, so we give Bill Pulte a little bit of credit, right, for going after the likes of Letitia, and I believe he's the one that came up with Lisa Cook's mortgage issues as well. But apparently, something happened. Something happened at this little club, and it is now on the front page of the New York Post right now because our Treasury Secretary is a total badass. I honestly can't believe this is happening. I mean, because he's kind of like a polished guy, right? Worked in finance. Like, this is not something I would expect. But maybe Bill had it coming. I don't know. Okay, so let me share with you the details of this story. According to the Post, they have confirmed it. By the way, this is not hearsay according to them. Apparently, Bill Pulte and Scott Bessent got into this heated argument in the White House last week, and there were threats of physical violence involved. So 2 sources tell the Post that Mr. Bessent threatened to beat up Pulte. So Bessent's 63, Pulte's 37. Gosh, I thought he was like 47. He needs to hit the gym. Like Bessent, 63, is taking on the 37-year-old. At one point, the Treasury Secretary lashed out at Pulte, allegedly saying, I'm saying allegedly because I have not confirmed this. I got to call Bannon. I think Bannon's their source on this one. Quote, why the F are you talking to the president about me? F you. I'm going to punch you in your effing face. Okay, so let's stand corrected. Apparently, he just threatened. Apparently, he didn't actually do it. I guess that's good. Pulte's response, they write, was not immediately clear. But the grudge match, first reported by Politico, is just the latest outbreak of discontent inside the administration. Pulte and Bessent have some overlapping duties, including plans to privatize the federal mortgage giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. But they've also expressed differing opinions about what to do with the Federal Reserve. That's really interesting because actually Bessent is not like a huge fan, and he's written on this in the past, of the Federal Reserve outgoing governor having a ton of power. But he's reportedly advised the president not to fire Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, whereas Pulte has been on a crusade to clear out central bank members, most recently referring Board of Governors member Lisa Cook to the Justice Department over allegations of mortgage fraud. Scott Bessent likely is worried about the impact on the markets, right? The uncertainty, because hey, we're the port in the storm still. You want to come and invest in the U.S. because you know that we're safe and secure, and we don't have crazy people running around doing silly things, and therefore your U.S. Treasury debt is always secure. And that's part of his goal as Treasury Secretary, to make sure that they know that their investments are always secure. And so the general consensus, according to my friend Charlie Gasparino, Charlie is always, he's a good gossip. The general consensus in the White House is that Scott would have, in fact, beat that little midget's ASS, and that everyone would have paid big money to watch it happen. Of course, who wouldn't want to see Scott Bessent take on little 37-year-old Pulte? But Trump loved the mortgage fraud stuff. He should remove him from FHFA and make him mortgage fraud czar to get him out of the White House. That's actually Charlie's advice. Really interesting. So the spat that I told you about, apparently it didn't happen in the White House. It occurred at the social club, at the executive branch social club. And this was founded by Omid Malik and and Trump's son, Don Jr. And it's a swanky club, and everybody goes there. And apparently they're getting into a few little fights along the way. I mean, this is just really, truly something else, is it not? So I should change this. Bessent did not actually slug him. He threatened to slug him. We got to be very clear, because now the Post is reporting that he did slug Elon Musk back when. Threatens to slug Pulte. I'm guessing Pulte deserved it. I'm telling you, it would take a lot. But apparently it's happened before. So in April, they write, Okay, this is important. They're not saying, oh, they do say reportedly. In April, the Treasury Secretary reportedly hit billionaire Elon Musk after the then Doge leader body checked Besant outside the Oval Office. Like, what is going on, people? Got a lot of testosterone there, huh? Elon giving him a body check? Besant slugging him, reportedly? Is that why Elon had that big black eye? Remember that day? And he said, oh, he was just hanging out with X and they were playing? I'm like, really? Can a 2-year-old do that much damage? The two got into a spat over dueling candidates to serve as the head of the IRS. Musk was pushing for IRS whistleblower Gary Shapley, who later got the job. Besant had a different candidate, and anyway, as the two began to exit, according to the Post, Besant confronted Musk and began labeling him a fraud. Wow, and that is according to Trump advisor Steve Bannon. Okay, so that's where we're getting Steve Bannon's in this name. I don't know who the source for this story is, but apparently everybody saw it. I mean, it's happening at the club. They're having like brawls at the executive club. I mean, Washington is getting rough. You're going to have to bring the National Guard in there. They said that Treasury Secretary lowered his shoulder at him like a rugby player. Man, Besant, I got to say, I think that's who we want for our Treasury Secretary. Someone who can really put up a good fight. I bet you Trump loves it. I'm just speculating. They're fighting over him now, right? I mean, my goodness. Something to see. Reminder, of course, I'm looking at the markets today as we get ready to close out today's trading. And you got a Dow that's higher, an S&P that's higher, and a NASDAQ that's higher right now. Lots of good news right across the board, you guys. You want to be invested in this market. Come to 76 Research, get our research, look at how we're doing things. Hopefully, you're going to see some upside as well. Take a look at that. It's a pretty good chart.